if you followed this, so and my display cable tied together, not really that much on the picture, but there it is, doesn't matter so much. You can watch the tinkering live stream from last night, open wire coded there, because I may or may not use this microcontroller there, AVR drop frames, can't make this up. Anyway, so I was a little bit disappointed then, because this did not just work when you go to the settings here of OBS and you have hotkeys here, and this did not just work until I made some code changes. All of those fancy extra sun buttons that I advertised in the other video to use for scene selection without me requiring to buy stupid made in China YouTube scene button nonsense and have here some random clutter stuff on my desk just for that. So none of these buttons work. Let me just check. So camera is the third scene, searching scene should be that button, I hope. Actually we could also just click cancel anyway. So yeah, what have I done? And yeah, that still works, amazing stuff. And so what have I done, and what is a message of this amazing live stream? Besides, we could actually reposition our amazing vintage terminal stuff here. What have I done, and what is my message of this video? My message of this video is everyone can code a little bit each and every day, because this was relatively super simple. Did I already know I did not commit this? So of course I made here a pretty nice patch here in T2. The patch looks like this. Nix keys, because Nix is the file name of this OBS for Unix stuff here. I added a couple of keys, but this of course looks super simple. I have here some x386 like before Xorg times, before Xorg became Xorg, and it was x386 from back in those funny days a decade ago. And this is why I have this in if1, because these are more fancy, well, besides this special sun stuff. So very theoretically you could put this in if def defined you have x386 extended stuff, but probably usually everyone had this. So 2 more includes there. This is a final product. I can talk a second how we went there, how we arrived there, by the way. Just let's commit this to T2, just a couple of more Xorg key defines, something than my old-fashioned before this Linux stuff became popular. Signing off here of there's my ad. So that is that. Also T2, of course, the distribution not only was before T2 the only distribution where VA API hidewire acceleration was packaged, because it was in Git and not yet released, and also updated OBS Studio today, because there was a new release after a couple of months of no release. Latest and greatest, of course, as usual, as per T2, and then T2 is the only distribution where this fancy keys work. Also Windows, because some of those keys I added defines here in general, so all of those keys like open, find, redo, undo, and so on would not even have worked on Windows if you had such a fancy keyboard that had such keys. So added improved OBS Studio with more X11 key synths or whatever. Commit that. So for you as a, and probably you agree that this is amazing, right? Amazing stuff. And how did we arrive here? So usually you just unpack this, and I knew that, so this is just archive extract the table, and I knew one button worked that helped. So as esoteric, not as common button help worked. So I basically, I think, grabbed probably, how did I find this quickly? Probably I grabbed for something with help, because I knew that symbol was already like recursive, and this already gives quite some stuff. Why? Because of course the sources here, okay, this scrolls so fast on an AMD Ryzen, amazing stuff. Yeah, so many files scrolls instantly. This is what we have for Ryzen, so 3,886 files, so you probably don't want to try to poke around them manually. Of course you grab that, And then you arrive here in libOBS. That looks quite obvious on the first glance here with Cocoa and Nix and stuff. Even I saw this the first time. I did this here in 30 minutes. You can see the beginning on my more live random nonsense channel there if you're into this kind of sort of stuff. And then it was just a matter of taking looks there. How is this built up? Nix is here some, yeah, and then these OBS keys. And even with Qt for cross-platform stuff, they have their own infrastructure for hotkeys for whatever reasons. Maybe no hotkey, fancy whatever support, or more stuff than Qt exports, or I don't know what. And then of course a couple of these amazing Sun keys weren't in there. It's just a matter of taking a look how this is done. I'm in a way lucky that this is done in a way that you do not need to implement those. It could have been worse that you could only add those also implemented for Windows and whatnot, and then it doesn't compile with some kind of whatever structure, but it wasn't. It is relatively simple, straightforward, so I just mostly added this cluster here of those keys, and then a couple of modifiers to the other. If you then grab for OBS key help, you arrive there at a couple of files, okay, whatever, yeah, OBS hotkeys, so everyone can do this. You neither need to be a programmer nor computer scientist nor studied or whatever, 8 years, 6 years, just do it. And yeah, this is also the benefit certainly of open source, because if you have some binary only Windows software, then you are stuck there and can't do this. And yeah, this is also motivating theme of this channel, motivating people to just do stuff. It's not magic, it's not rocket science, just extract it, grab around there and quickly do stuff like this. And I really hope this motivates more people to get in code, because in my opinion some of those programs of famous people are sometimes maybe not the best promotion kind of code stuff, especially if it's only, well, only but web stuff with HTML and CSS and stuff. This is certainly how more in-depth programming looks, also for our amazing Sun adapter. I have to say, keyboard not too bad. In my earlier live stream, only thing I found out to my surprise that I did not know this, that the Alt and Meta key here is also swapped for Sun. I thought it's an Apple thing. I forgot about this because it's a decade that I use this keyboard. Also, this Alt graph stuff is in a really awkward position for the ISO German /SZ stuff there, or this pipe stuff. So this is, yeah, did quite forget about this. As I said, I used this here on a daily basis with the Ultra 5 15 years ago or something, but 15 years is a long time. A lot of water has run down that river. Does someone have questions here? Dave, the only way to code is to try, fail and repeat until you succeed. Yeah, also what I want to really showcase here, this is so dead simple. Of course, this is just one example. Everything will be different. But even you should not stop, even in the Linux kernel, if you want some small stuff, maybe a button is not working on your gaming keyboard. Or, by the way, theoretically here with this Ryzen, of course we can't control here this bloody RGB lighting, but I've seen there is some project, maybe it was Python or something, certainly not the greatest Python fan, but actually we could very theoretically try to Google this here live on YouTube, because why not? And I was thinking, for the amazing YouTube content here, maybe another day I try to do this lighting nonsense, and certainly I will most likely code this myself then, because well, not only that I do not need this fancy RGB lighting, whatever, I could also just disable it in the BIOS, but why disable it? At least I see with this glowing stuff that it's powered on, and if I leave the office I would see that it's blinking in the corner here, so whatever. You can also just leave this default BIOS, whatever animation nonsense there. But very theoretically you could do useful stuff, like there are like a cluster of LEDs, like more than 10 I think, maybe nearly 20 or whatever. You could even do this for loads, that from left to right, the brighter this stuff is or something, the more load you have, or like one side is the load and the other side is blinking network traffic or something, whatever you fancy there. And yeah, sometimes if you Google why is this, yeah, so not amazing, yeah, 16 AMD Ryzen threads, 8 cores, and you still have this kind of not amazing Firefox response times, or one day another browser, whatever. So this was ASUS something, what was this even called RGB, I forgot, even Strix, whatever, Linux RGB lighting or whatever. Do we even find it with this? Aura, yes, of course it's called Aura, why not? I think was this, so I found somewhere like, but this is also already a couple of months ago, because I'm totally not in, or maybe this one, here someone I wrote a, well, someone, not I, wrote a program there. This was probably that, I guess, here on GitLab. How was it? I have no idea. Just some, where is this even? I square C, whatever. So maybe this was even here, SM bus. Wait a second, then run what? I think I saw somewhere, this looks a little bit like some SDK stuff that I wouldn't want to use, but you get the idea. Somewhere I found something, and maybe one day, or the driver application for Linux, whatever. Anyway, not very much in lighting there, just some cargo. Hey, branding covered, multiple protocols. Yeah, so this is some bit banging there of whatever, I square C. Of course, neither a fan of Rust and Cargo nor of Python, so whatever. Oh, wait a second, here is some, this is interesting. So there's some SM bus patching here to I square C something. Anyway, that's a topic for another day, just an example if you are into RGB lighting and this is the only thing that is missing from your Linux gaming rigs, then there you have it. Otherwise, code a little bit every day, even if you are not into this. And no computer science and rocket science required. Just do it, and even reverse engineering, you know, the although this is of course not NVIDIA here, because not NVIDIA fans, but Matrox another day or whatever. Just do it, just start somewhere, just yeah, totally into this hotkeys there. So amazing stuff. You see, trying hard here on making the most amazing directly stream from Linux open broadcaster YouTube live stream studio setup. The only thing missing for more amazing scenes, if you want to see me again, I need to paint the wall there, because I don't want to really show here the one corner. I mentioned this in the between the lines. The previous tenant here didn't paint half of the wall because there was a wardrobe, so there is some never really bothered. But now with YouTube, don't want to make this look like Louis Rossman's Abundant New York stuff, because otherwise, yes, this is also, by the way, why the wall is yellow, not my favorite color, but not really bothered to paint everything white here just because someone painted yellow. So this is also then discussed. I hope you learned something. If you have questions, otherwise need to go home and stuff, and also my tap water. Yep, so this patch is in T2 upstream for all those Debian people who tell me I do not contribute enough. Yeah, also I fixed from the firmware, so the ISO key wasn't working so much to contribute, not contributing enough my ass. Basically half of yesterday or whatever day this was spent on LVM2 nonsense, and then keyboard flashing, and also this actually took quite a while to figure out, because it wasn't obvious which keysim, which keyboard number stuff is generated. Needed to debug and fiddle around in this 8-bit AVR firmware there last night until midnight, because why not, dedication and whatnot. And then here's this patch, if you are into those kind of fancy keys. This just went online in SVN, Hexacode T2, trunk, package, package, multimedia, I guess. Let's multimedia, and then OBS Studio. I would there, and here you now have Nix keys, because why not? Committed to life on YouTube, making open source better each and every day. I also wonder, by the way, not really sure, by the way, do we get this warning? Still not really, what, no data, no active stream, what the heck? So yeah, also can't make this stuff up. So stream health is no data, although we are live, so yeah, whatever. Cloud stuff and Google and YouTube. Could actually check live on YouTube, live here on this other, because I actually test streamed. But this is probably getting too long then, and then people unsubscribe again, and this is not what we want, because still not really sure what is with our VA API AMD stuff there. that we patched around there for this 16 alignment of 16 for this crooked resolution stuff. Yeah, this process now could actually check here, watch me doing more random live stuff. Only wonder, do we see this here or not? That's for nerds. What? Yeah, so yeah, this resolution, so much you can't trust. So this is still not working, but I have the feeling this is, why is this 1080p and yet saying, this is a, wait a second, current optimal res. What? This is only the viewer frame viewport. Maybe this looks correct then, no, but maybe something was fixed in OBS or VA API. Anyway, this would be cool if this works now, because this is really annoying if the resolution is 8 pixels off and YouTube scales it and everything looks shitty, and it also has other drawbacks, like me not being able to select the teaser cards and end screen stuff because it's another resolution, and then YouTube doesn't allow you to copy it from another video because it says no other video with this resolution because it's off by 7.5 pixel or whatever nonsense. Anyway, perfecting this streaming setup each and every day. Let's see on this channel if we have questions or answers. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Don't forget to code a little bit every day, and certainly contributed upstream like this. Probably have to open. But by the way, for this, before the Debian people scream again, we are shit open source citizens and don't contribute enough, this ISO key stuff I've sent upstream already, created a pull request for that, for this one line change for that. Let's see, where's our live stream? What, send feedback? No, get away. There, so that is already pull requested there. And yeah, just one line change. You can, I posted the link to that under below the other video if you are interested how that looks. Mostly was fiddling around there, debugging, trying the hardest thing, because this key mapping stuff was slightly unintuitive, took a little bit of time to figure out where exactly that is. And yeah, no question apparently. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. This stuff, as you see, by the way, did I not switch the scene? Oh, wait a second, yeah, this scene is outdated, certainly. Oh dear, in case this wasn't online, there it is. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night. See you soon, maybe tomorrow or something. Yeah, IT news tonight. Certainly, probably tomorrow or something like that. And I hope to see you soon for all the amazing open source tinkering, coding, reviews, and all the other stuff in between left and right to come.